Hi, my name is Andrea. I am the host of the Cat Lady podcast. That's 2T, C-A-T-T, craft all the things. Just a silly little side project of mine. I'm a knitting and fiber enthusiast, so I do a podcast that talks about knitting and everything. So if you're into that stuff, go check me out. If not, this kind of is more for the people who aren't into knitting and fiber. If you are on social media a lot, you've seen the big trend of these giant, fluffy, amazingly soft looking blankets and scarves and everything. They're really cool. I agree, they look really cool, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, can you make these, and do you want these? And you know, my knitting circles are exploding with like, oh my gosh, people don't understand. So I am here to maybe shed some light on this and hope that you will just think about it. I mean, more power to you. If you want to buy one, or if you want to try to make one, cool, but just know what you're getting into, because it's not as practical as it may seem. Even if you look closely at some of the reviews and some of the text on the descriptions, this is a luxury item, a lot of them say. This is not for everyday use, a few of them say. Dry clean only. I don't even know if I would trust to take it to a dry cleaner. Basically, I wouldn't. It's just not washable. I mean, it's just not washable. But anyways, so what these blankets are made out of is referred to as roving. It's wool. It's sheep wool. It's I don't know if it's superwash or non-superwash, but it really doesn't matter. The consistency of the fiber, it's not designed to be knitted, arm knitted, big needles, whatever. It's just not designed. So I have some samples. And here's the thing with reviews too. So I've read through a lot of Etsy reviews, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, these are amazing, and they all have like 5 stars, but people are opening their box and seeing it and laying it out on their bed for the first time. And yes, it's awesome, it's amazing, it's pristine, it's beautiful. I want to hear reviews like months later, you know, or people that have actually used it. And if you scroll, you can find a few like, oh, this is nice, but you know, a month later it's not as pretty anymore. The one that made me laugh the most was, I bought this for my wife, and don't put it around Velcro, which any hand knits, Velcro is a no-no, but especially this. And this was the kicker, it got caught in my facial hair because, you know, it's scratchy, so that made me laugh. But a lot of reviews were just positive, just because they were either buying the material, which of course they pull it open, it looks amazing, looks like it looks on the website. And again, the blankets look like they're supposed to right when they come out of the box, but as soon as, just like clothing, I mean, as soon as you wash it once or as soon as you start using it, it doesn't have that fresh, clean, you know, beautiful look anymore. But even worse. So on to my samples. So this is a braid, and this is made to be used on like a spinning wheel. So I'm a spinner, or a drop spindle, to spin yarn. So this is what it looks like when I get it. And of course this was dyed, hand dyed, but you know, it's fluffy and big and pretty. I don't want to rip this one apart for examples, so I'm just showing you, you know. Oh, and this was another thing too. One of the reviews was like, it's nice, but it's got little bits of stuff in it. And here's an example, I don't know if you can see, of little bits of stuff. And this is sheep hair. This came from a sheep that was living out on a farm. So yes, even though you process it and you wash it, I think I got another one here, it still has little bits of hay. Yeah, this one's got, let's see, probably hard to see on camera, but it's got little bits of hay and matter in it, and grass, and you know, it's wool. It's sheep hair. So here's another example. So this one's not as fluffy as this one. These ones were processed, you know, at a mill. These ones might have been processed by hand. So, but this is what it is, you know. And this is just another type of sheep. Here's a big ball of it. So super soft merino. So this is what, you know, typically they're selling. But again, it's going to be thicker like this. All the ones I have are from, I don't know if they were hand processed or whatever, but But this is it. This is wool, merino. It's soft. It's really soft. I mean, it's gonna make a gorgeous item, but it's just, this is what it does. It's hair. I mean, it just pulls apart. Accidentally, if you know, just brush by it the wrong way, and it's gonna start going like this. Because I mean, it just stuff just falls apart because it's not made for that. It's made to be twisted and spun. So you twist it, you pull it apart, and you pull it, and then it turns into yarn. Which again, even with these little, so I make these little things that are nice and sturdy now, and then I take 2 or more of these and spin them together again, so that it makes a solid yarn. So this is spinning fiber, and I think some of the listings even say spinning fiber. So for me, it's crazy to take something like spinning fiber that's made to pull apart and spin onto a wheel and knit it into a blanket. And it was on the news the other day, and again, I keep getting messages, and even and people coming up to me saying, "Oh, you knit? Can you do these blankets?" And for the amount of money, it's just not worth it. If you want that showpiece that just sits on your couch and you have no pets and you have no intentions of touching it, okay, and you got $500 to spend or $200 to spend and the time to make it, I'm definitely not gonna knock it. So, you know, they have the cowls and the pet beds. The pet beds, that's the one that really gets me. Okay, my cats have claws. They're gonna just shred the heck out of that. And I made a pet bed for them out of a sweater, and it's just destroyed with hair. And I can't clean it. It's made out. I know it's made out of a sweater, but it's stuffed with a pillow and everything, and I can't wash it. So it's just disgusting now. And you're not gonna be able to wash this thing. Maybe dry cleaning. I don't even know if the dry cleaners would take it. Like, you'd have to find it's not sturdy either. Like, okay, you're arm knitting it or using big needles, so you're gonna have holes in it the size of your arm. So you're gonna have a large, like in between each stitch when you actually hold it up, if you ever saw a picture of it like held up, there's gonna be giant holes in it. So it looks pretty laid out, but as soon as you pick it up, you know, it's made to be, you know, airy, you know, because that's what happens. The size of the needles is the size of the holes. So again, if you're not a fiber enthusiast knitter, you're not going to know these things, and that's totally cool. You don't need to know these things, but that's why I figured I'm just going to put it all out there. Another thing that's interesting about wool roving, it smells. And that was another comment too. It's like, it's got a weird smell. You know what it smells like? It smells like sheep. Which for me, I'm starting to like get a weird enjoyment out of the smell of sheep now. Now, the more processed it is, the less it smells. So this one, but as soon as I get it wet, as soon as I wash it, like, because after I make yarn, I soak it in water and a little bit of fiber wash, and just a gentle soak. You don't wash it, you don't agitate it, because it'll felt. So if you were to wash one of those giant blankets and it wasn't a super wash, even if it was, maybe, it would turn into a giant just chunk. It'd probably turn into a giant just ball of gross. And it would smell like a sheep. So just some things to know, you know? It might have little bits of stuff in it. It might smell. It's gonna pill. It's gonna shed. Like, even when I'm spinning on my wheel and I got the fiber on my leg, typically there's bits left behind on my leg and my clothes. It's hair, you know, it's just like a cat hair, except it's sheep. So it kind of, you know, it'll stick, it'll shed, it's hair. There are some vendors on Etsy that sell felted roving, so it's already been pre-felted. It's not as pretty. It's just not, because it's more felted, but that's gonna stay together. That's not gonna pill and shed as much because it's already been scrubbed and washed and felted, so this fiber is not gonna pull apart. So you could look into that. Some of the people in the knitting community are trying to come up with different plans. So some of the ideas were taking large strips of fleece, so like that soft fleece material you can get at Joann Fabrics or something, cutting it into strips and attaching them together and then knitting that. So maybe I'll see if somebody does a prototype, but I might like to try that because I would love one of these things too. I mean, who wouldn't? They're giant, cozy, cuddly, you know, who doesn't like that? It's just not practical, and for that amount of money, I would just hate to see people waste their money on this because like some of them are selling for like $500. Again, the materials are like $200-300. I mean, that's a lot of money for something that's just not gonna hold up, and it's just not practical. Unless that's fine for you, and that's cool. I'm totally not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna post pictures of anything either because I don't want to single anybody out. Or if you're on social media and you probably have seen it, so that's all. Then that's all I'm gonna say. So just do your research. If you have any fibery friends, talk to them, ask them. Usually people, usually you ask your knitting friends if they can do that first, and hopefully they're responding with something similar. But this is just my public service announcement. So just do your research, and I just don't recommend it. So thanks for watching.